that is the comp that they've played in every single game that they've done, and the teams just can't seem to find a counter to it. They've obviously, as I said, they've loved Scarf. Every game Scarf is available that's been picked, and they then go for a double sustain comp with that, either two captains, maybe an Arden or a Lance, or to go for a captain and Cruel. So I'm pretty sure Infamous will know what the Eanix draft is going to be. Eanix are going to be comfortable with that because they're so comfortable. We've seen trophies on those Crystal Power Mages is extremely comfortable and probably one of the best lane Crystal Power Mages that we've seen. So Eanix going to be happy with getting that draft, and Infamous, all they have to do is they just have to counter it and execute it properly. We saw that it kind of got countered by the Black Feather, the dive comp, but it just couldn't be executed properly because Trophies was too good on the Celeste. So it's going to be all about if Infamous can counter that comp, which I'm pretty sure they'll know that it's coming.
Yep, and with that, and let's see if Infamous will be able to counter the comp. Draft is ready, so without further ado, let's just hop straight into draft.
The draft begins.
And so we've got Eanix on A side. They like to ban or pick Lyra. They seem to prefer Lyra over Grace, which is interesting. We don't tend to see that for most teams. Most teams prefer Grace, but it's most likely they're going to. They might even ban the Grace, but it's more likely they're going to ban someone like a Taka, who really counters their assassin comp. Taka would be fantastic against Scarf. Is really good against Celeste. So that's a really likely ban for Eanix. But they also could just ban the Baron, and they're going to go for Samuel. So that is one of their mages they could possibly play off the fold. I'd expect to see a Scarf ban from Infamous, but they like the Grace. They do Grace almost every game. And so now Lyra's going to be picked up by Eanix. And there's Infamous put a lot of emphasis on Idris. So if Idris isn't picked in this phase, he's just going to be banned away by them. But I doubt they'll do anything except pick Idris here.
Yep, definitely. And I was about to call on that Samuel ban because that is a reflection of what they've been doing so far in the Vainglory 8. Every single time, I think Samuel is really just a big threat for them since they like to run the late game comp. Whereas on the side of Infamous, we do see a Baron, of course, followed by the Idris being banned out. Idris, as we all know, is a very reliable counter into that Baron. Of course, for the side of Eanix, I'm sure they will want to ban out the Black Feather, who has got extreme dive. They are going to take out and remove that of Castro, which is a solid ban as well, especially when the side of Infamous, they are known for their Castro, their CP Castro as well.
Yeah, they do like to play Kestrel. I think Infamous haven't had much chance to play Kestrel. It's been banned away from them quite a lot. I'd expect to see maybe an Arden to pair with this Black Baron. They're going to go for the Batiste Rome. This just sets up for a Scarf and Weapon Lance or Cruel, whichever one they want. I think Cruel would be quite effective into Baron, but Weapon Lance may work better because you can really stop Baron ramping up early game. And they're going to go Glaive instead. I would be surprised if that's a lane Glaive. It's most likely to be jungle Weapon Glaive, and then they're going to stick with their Scarf every game it's available. They're going to pick Scarf. Infamous going to be ready for that. I think that's probably going to be a utility Rome Batiste, because then you can get an echo on your Fear. What do you think, Luxuria?
Yeah, I think utility Batiste will be the best option coming into this match, especially with that Glaive in the front line. And there is one thing, I agree with Dai, he has played a lot of Glaive, and we've seen him play that Glaive as well. Glaive does super well into that of Baron in the late game, as we've seen when pulled off by the side of Infamous. So the side of Eanix, they are switching out a little, but then of course the Scarf still remains, and whether or not the Scarf can put in work against this Baron is another topic altogether. For the side of Infamous, I reckon they have a Baron, they have got a Batiste. They are going to go for the Koshka just to counter that Glaive, but I'm not sure if Infamous have seen that of Eanix play, but I think Koshka does very well into that of Scarf, just not so probably as for Glaive in the early game. What do you think, Mini?
I think it's going to be tough for Koshka to successfully invade against this Glaive and get much from it. Generally, when you're up against a Glaive and you do invade, Glaive can just afterburn over a wall and not die. He might lose some of his farm, but he won't die. So if Iron You Die on this Glaive is able to secure his farm as soon as it spawns and then not get killed by Koshka, it's going to be really hard for her to push an early game advantage. that does mean this game's very likely to go into mid game quickly and push to late game without anyone getting a real advantage. You would say that favours Eanix because they love their late game comps. They love playing in the late game with Scarf. But Baron's extremely good late game as well. So it's to do with who can position better because they're both going to go pretty glass cannon. They're both going to have a lot of damage. There's game-ending CC if Baron gets hit by the Afterburn, and a game-ending CC if Scarf gets hit by the Unmechanical Frenzy. So it's all about can they block it, which jungler will be able to execute their CCs properly, and maybe a Fear into a Unmechanical Frenzy would be a great combination that Infamous can do. So I reckon it's going to get to late game without anyone going ahead.
Yeah, but that's something you say. And Eanix, one of the major weaknesses, at least going up against Infamous for the side of Eanix, is like they really, really take advantage of, the late game. They can be falling behind in that of the early game, but, they just favor their late games, as we've seen in all of the performance so far. But the thing with Infamous is that they know, and they know how to capitalize on their early game strengths. They know how to go in for those fights and, of course, take advantage of objectives as well. They just have to take one member down and they immediately want to push for those objectives, as we've seen so far coming out from the side of Infamous. And also, one more thing I want to point out is Baron. We've seen Uni on this Baron, and he doesn't quite wait till he gets 3 items or even that tension bow. He knows his first power spike is when he gets the Sorrow Blade, and he takes full advantage of that. And let's see whether or not this Koshka can successfully invade this glaive, as I hand it over to Asurai and me as they talk about this match.
Hello. All right, so I'll be casting alongside Mini Miter here to give to you this last best of 3 series for the finals of today's Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia and Eanix. I really like their composition. Again, they got their Scarf, so we'll see if they can transition this into a Game 1 win.
Yeah, they'll definitely be happy that they got Scarf, because we saw Truffy's on Celeste was absolutely fantastic, but I think he's much more comfortable playing as a Scarf, because we've just seen it picked every time, as opposed to when Scarf was banned, he was kind of forced to play Celeste. That was his go-to last pick. Spaghetti is not looking like he wants to invade in the jungle, which is interesting. I thought Spaghetti, after he hit level 2, would go straight for Glaive's jungle, try and steal some backs, get a kill, and push the early game, but looks like Koshka's just going to port home to get some boots, get a bit more damage, and then get her own jungle instead. It's not the worst idea because you've got a Baron on your team, but you do want, I think Infamous do have a better early game comp with that Batiste, who's going quite low in lane to Truffy's smoke.
So this 2v2 in the lane, Batiste and Baron versus Lyra with the Scarf. I think at least this Lyra, using again that heal of hers, will be able to, in a way, maybe out-sustain SNK with Uni for just a smidge of a portion of the time there. I Angry You Die, rotating to the bottom side, looking, will be spawning Spaghetti to take out this Treant. We'll see who gets the last hit.
Oh, he gets it.
Ooh, he gets it.
You die with the steal on the Treant. Koshka took that incredibly quickly. Obviously, getting 3 crystal bits means Koshka has an awful lot of damage for quite cheap, and now this is what I thought Spaghetti would do. Go to Glaive's backs, try and steal some farm, or maybe get a kill. Angry is likely to get 1 back. Koshka's there. It's going to get 1.
Oh no, Truffy's is right here. The burst damage coming in from Spaghetti, but he immediately pounces away, as that is a 2v1 situation. So Eanix knows a little bit of what's up, but Spaghetti, he tried to get the last hit, but it was actually Truffy's and Truffles here in the mid lane, or rather in the lane. Using Lyra takes quite a bit of a beating, but Truffy's will provide some support. Rocket just from Uni. Gonna be spotting out I Angry You Die. There's a Rocket as well, and it's a 3-man invade in the jungle of Eanix. They're gonna be going much more aggressively in this one. Truffy's does have a whole bunch of energy here. At the same time, you gotta remember.
Lots of 3-man rotations together. We saw 3-man Infamous in the jungle together, and now Eanix 2-man rotating up to lane. But it was fantastic play from Truffy's. You saw that Glaive didn't get invaded in the first rotation. Obviously, Koshka brought it home, but then in the second rotation, as the afterburn onto a minion, that wasn't what he wanted.
He wanted to go for it.
Yeah, he wanted to get Uni with the afterburn. but he accidentally tapped a minion instead of tapping Baron, so Glaive's just going to back off and get his jungle. Yeah, Truffy's went to the backs with Glaive, so that when Koshka invaded, they knew Batiste was in lane, and Lyra could just hold the lane, and the two carries would just prevent Koshka from stealing any. Only got one back and didn't get anywhere near a kill. In fact, Koshka almost died. So that's really good to keep the early game away from Infamous.
Trophies, I think this Lyra is actually pretty good in terms of keeping themselves contained or sustained in the lane. Oh, Trophies running away from Spaghetti. Spaghetti is going to be just that aggressive. Iangu Yadida with the backstab goes against Uni rather. That's going to be the 1-for-1 trade. Make that 2-for-1 as Spaghetti on this. The Taka is being a little bit unleashed, or rather, sorry, Koshka.
Yeah.
It's right, being a little bit unleashed.
Yeah, Spaghetti diving under turrets to secure the kill on Trophies. Very, very good decision because Koshka is one of those heroes where you can do so much burst damage and you're so quick that even if you dive turret and seem to go far deep for most heroes, you can just run away as long as there aren't any slows on the fold. You knew Glaive didn't have enough, but he used it already on Baron. So there was no chance Koshka would get punted back. Lyra wasn't there to give a bright bulwark to stop her running away. So Koshka was free to just run in, run out, and only take one turret shot and easily survive and pick up one kill. Koshka is level 6, and there is not a block on Truffy, so there is almost definitely going to be a gank, and a Yummy Frenzy will land on Truffy's.
Oh, this is going to be disgusting if ever Spaghetti can land it. There you go. He's just going a little bit aggressive, uses the ultimate, but after burn over the wall, Iangu Yadida with some pretty fancy footwork here. He's trying to go a little bit frontline, so while that was happening, Trophies can maybe go in from the sideline there and deal the damage. Doesn't have the ultimate just yet, but maybe a goop plus the Spitfire would be enough, but to no avail. That's just going to be a show of power here for Infamous. And
good timing. Yeah. Good timing for Iangu Yadida on the Glaive. Afterburn over the wall at the perfect time, so that Koshka would stay on her side, Glaive would be on the other side of the wall, and Koshka couldn't secure the kill. Obviously, Glaive takes all the damage from the Unmechanic Frenzy and is stunned, but he's on the other side of the wall, so Koshka can't immediately get those Empower basic attacks off. Seeing a lot of objective turret focus from Infamous, as we tend to see. They don't go for kills, they go for turrets and push. Like, they don't even need to get a kill. They just force you to port home or back off, and then they get a turret. Spaghetti in the jungle.
Spaghetti in the jungle, indeed. He's gonna go up against Iangu Yadida. Just a little bit of a question. Before, have we seen like Captain Batiste's go for echo builds, or has it just been like recently trending?
We almost when it hasn't been that long. I think it's been about a month and a bit that we've seen Captain Batiste really start to use echo on that Fearsome Shade, and it's such a useful item on Batiste. Obviously, unless you accidentally echo a bad mojo, it's not the worst idea to echo and Ordained as well. If you accidentally don't manage to use echo on Fearsome Shade, you can use it on Ordained, because that will lock. So that locks Glaive in place. He tries to afterburn through, and you Ordain him again, and we see the echo be picked up second item. There's nothing really to Crucible. There's no Blast Tremor. There's no Yummy Frenzy that Eanix have got. So SNK, it's safe to just get echo as a second item. That's really big on Batiste. He's going to stop Scarf Forcing.
Oh, dirty.
So
bad manners, man.
Bad mojo, bad manners, all of the above.
Yeah. SNK here onto the side. He can actually set up a pretty cheesy gank there if he wanted to. He does have the Ordained, has an echo as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he got the double CCs. There you go. Infamous will follow through as well, but the Bright Bulwark will keep them in their spots. Ooh, the rocket jump was able to give such a huge amount of damage there for Uni.
The Yummy Catnip Frenzy wasn't blocked by Truffy's, but it was snared by Lyra. Koshka was mid-animation, jumping through the air to try and get on top of Scarf, but Lyra used her Bright Bulwark and snared Koshka out of the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. That must be annoying.
Ah, you can't do it. Jump Jets is just too real, friend. And Truffles, can he get away? There's going to be Uni, though, going back in. Truffy's doesn't have an ultimate just yet. He can only go for the Spitfire with the Goops. Is this a misclick? Did he not go for that level 6 ultimate? I can only just assume. Yeah.
Sometimes Scarfs don't upgrade their Dragon's Breath until they've hit about level 10, because at level 6 the Dragon's Breath doesn't actually do that much damage. So some Scarfs prefer to get those levels in her goop, in her B ability, and so they just don't want to use don't want to upgrade the Dragon's Breath. It's seen sometimes, but generally Scarfs just like to have Dragon's Breath available.
Yeah.
Clearly, Truffy didn't want to this game.
But imagine if he had, it might have been 2 kills for Eanix.
That's the risk you take. Is it worth it to have extra levels on your goop, or is having that ultimate ability? Is that a better decision? Maybe in that fight it would have been better for him to have that Dragon's Breath unlocked.
Yeah, you can only wonder, but at least there's not too much that they got from that one, except for maybe the gold mine. Although Eanix looking to recuperate their losses by pushing up into the lane. Here is SNK, gets caught out by Angry. I Angry You Die. Loop as well with the Spitfire. Uni here to the sidelines. Here comes Spaghetti. He's going aggressive. There it is. Yummy cut the frenzy the damage onto Truffy's. He's got to back away. I Angry You Die is not tanky enough to deal with Spaghetti for the meantime. Even with Uni in the backline as well, dealing so much damage with this Baron. And the fight is on Spaghetti. He wants more. He's into the side. He's going to be dashing in. There's the Fearsome Shade. There's the follow-up by Spaghetti. Here comes Uni as well. Jump jets. SNK though, a bit more than he can cheese. Spaghetti leaps into the fight. Does a good amount of damage with that twirl. He's going in. One more shot. Oh, the shield saves him. And you can see Truffy's actually using that passageway just for the mobility. But the rockets from Baron. My goodness.
So much splash damage to pick up Truffy's and force Truffles to
Spaghetti.
back off. Do they want more?
Okay.
Uni is so low. One Imperial Sigil is enough. Spaghetti's just trying to be sneaky. Probably could have saved his Baron, but he's just going to be even sneaky.
Oh no, Truffles. Oh no, Truffles. I'm so sorry. Truffles will be no more.
Not safe. He got the kill on Baron, so I think that's probably worth it. Truffles nearly secured stopped the turret from falling, but couldn't quite do it. And he did get an Imperial Sigil to secure a kill on Uni, but then Spaghetti was just there. So I think there wasn't much better that Truffles could do, because if Truffles had ported home, it would have left Baron to get a free turret and not died.
So now this Koshka is really paying dividends for Infamous. They have shown how versatile they are in the compositions, and this Koshka is again somewhat of a tempo hero that, well, Infamous have been using to a very insane extent. And it's making it difficult for Eanix to even find any breathing room right now, because you know what? They have their breathing space just being constricted by Infamous.
Yeah, Infamous about a 5k gold lead at the moment, so that's pretty significant with a Baron on your team. I think Truffy's will be not too distraught because he has Scarf, but that is a Baptiste maybe out of position. Nope, good block. And Koshka's going to come up soon, so Infamous will be ready to fight. I don't like the fact that Iron Gudai has built Tension Bow Aftershock on this glaive. He's gone for on-hit damage. I think he should have gone for pure weapon power, because now they can just get an Aegis and not worry about glaive's damage at all. I think if he'd have gone Solar Blade, Tension Bow, Tornado Trigger, it would have been way better for Eanix. But they're going to go for a fight.
Here we go. Fight breaks out. Fearsome Shade gets blocked. There could be a secondary. Yes, it is up right now. SNK doesn't want to use it just for the meantime. And Eanix here, they know that they're behind in terms of the control of this game, so they're trying to force out the fight, but not dive in a bit too deep. Gonna be as safe as can be while dealing damage from afar. So a tricky situation if ever I saw one. I Angry Dice right here. He wants to go for it, but I don't think he can. But I may be wrong though. Here it is, the catch up onto SNK. He's just a bit too tanky. That is a captain. He's been building quite a bit of defensive items. You got yourself the Fountain, the Crucible, the Echo, all day long. Oh! I Angry You Die though will get caught out. Yummy Captain Frenzy locks him in place. This is gonna be a 1v1. Can't see that they're gonna try to run away, and Eanix will just escape barely. Uni jumps in. He wants to go, but no more for now.
Wanted to fire those Porcupine Mortars towards the base to try and stop them porting, but couldn't quite do it. And a good fight for both teams. The carry traded for a captain, so Infamous will be happy and able to take away a little bit of farm, not much, but just try and push that Koshka ahead a little bit more. And look at the amount of shield Spaghetti's picked up. And an Aegis, Confusion now, which I know not an infusion, an Aegis, a light shield, and a kinetic shield. Every single tier of shielding that you could have, Spaghetti has got. So he's going, obviously Aftershock Broken Myth, that's what you build on Koshka to do your burst damage, but then just flat out pure defense against Truffy's Scarf, who is probably going to have to build a piercing spear to make up for that all that shield that Koshka has got, because just one Broken Myth giving 10% shield pierce probably won't be enough for Scarf to deal significant damage on Koshka, so that may force Truffy's to build how he doesn't really want to.
We'll just see Spaghetti is primed and ready. He wants to go for the leap of faith. Looking to maybe get Infamous in the driver's seat for this best of 3. This is the finals. If you saw the recap, there is, what, a 30-point difference between Infamous and Eanix. If Infamous are 40, Eanix is 10 in this tournament right here. So Eanix have a lot to prove, and Infamous have to keep their throne as the top 1 team for this game. And here it goes. The fight breaks out. Double Fearsome Shade spots out I Angry Die. That's 1. They're looking for another target here, another victim, and Truffles will be using his passageway to escape, but to no avail. That's going to be Uni to finalize the kill. Jump Jets as well. He gonna set up the Dragon's Breath. Can he get SNK? That's going to be a no. An ace for Infamous.
Yeah, well played by Infamous. A really good team fight. They focused down Angry Die at the beginning so much. He barely even had time to tap on his tablet. He got Yuppie Cat that Frenzied, then Feared, then the Echoed, another Fear. He just couldn't do anything in that team fight, no matter how hard he tried, because he just got CC'd by the Batista and the Koshka. I think what Infamous are doing is they're showing how you counter a hyper carry comp. The whole point of Eanix's comp is to keep Scarf alive, let her get items, and let her be an absolute menace in the late game. Whereas what's happened is Scarf is not in the late game, only got 2 items and a defense. Baron's got 4 damage items. Infamous have got a slight lead, and Koshka has gone just full defense. You just tank up, so that Scarf won't do anywhere near as much damage as she needs to.
Yeah, and because Infamous have not given any breathing space for Eanix here, there's not really a chance for Truffles to actually get the items that he needs. And now here it is, the siege. It's real. Uni, my goodness, those jump jets are just doing so much damage. The double rockets in your face, combo nation. Look at the damage from Uni. He's a little bit unleashed here, but Truffles will try to go for the revenge. Although this is just the glaive with the Scarf trying to beat down onto the Kraken. I think they will be able to. Dragon's Breath to follow onto SNK, but that again is a Captain Batiste, so he should be fine for now, but he doesn't have any escape tools, so Angry Die will help him. But 1 turret remains before that vein is exposed.
Yeah, Koshka manages to run away, so it's not an ace given away to Eanix. You generally expect to die when you're trying to push Kraken just to get those turrets. We saw the Baron, as you said, the jump jet's dealing so much damage. Uni can afford to get an Aegis. I'm not sure. He doesn't quite want to get it yet. Maybe he wants to get some boots. The Scarf has got 3 damage items, working towards a 4. This is a really good time for Eanix because Koshka's going to start to fall off. Her damage is going to start to become non-existent, non-important. And even though the more shields you buy, the less effective it is. So if Koshka decides to get a second Aegis, that won't give as much protection to her as the first Aegis did. So once Truffles does get 4 items, you're still going to deal a lot of damage to Koshka, even with all of the shielding she has got. So I think it still is possible for Eanix to turn this one around. They are around 6k gold behind. It's not at the 10k gold lead where people say it's game over. And even though they haven't got a turret, they still have quite a decent chance in these team fights.
Fight might break out in the bottom side. So, like you said, they still have a chance in these team fights, although there is a 6,000 gold lead. Sometimes that's not really the case anymore, as, like you said, Koshka has been building quite a bit of tanking items, so her damage should be starting to fall off soon. And Eanix, well, I think they're hoping for that one, and they're trying to push this a little bit more later into the later stages of this game so that they can allow maybe Truffles to start ramping up his items.
Yeah, we are 18 minutes in. I think Eanix want to be more 22, 23 minutes in before they actually choose to fight. So I'm pretty sure Eanix will be happy to keep vision on Kraken make sure that Infamous aren't taking it, and just not fight for as long as possible. Iron Cannon will force a fight.
And here we go, Infamous. They're going to be going aggressive. No stuns yet for Spaghetti. He goes in with the leap, but that's not the ultimate leap that will get the connection of the CC. Chuffies in a very bad spot. There's the blast from the scout trap. And Eanix, looky here with this Lyra, keeping themselves pretty topped off, while Truffies is dealing so much chip damage from a side. They don't really want to go for this choke area here because one setup of a Fearsome Shade might turn it back around for Infamous. Although, no blood has been shed just yet, but there might be soon enough. I could be wrong. Kraken still untouched.
I said that Uni could afford an Aegis, but he didn't want to buy it. Maybe he wanted something else, and he did want something else. He wanted 5 damage items. So this Baron is going to be 100% on positioning to stay alive, and they could be going for the back door. Infamous, they're going to be caught out. They're not going to be able to do the back door. Uni would have been... Oh, Kosh is going to be snared out of her pouncy fun. And Infamous are waiting for the engage. Scarf is going to poke out. Infamous is going to go in.
Truffles got out of position there, but you can see Eanix smartly playing this right now. Infamous will be trying to take the base, baiting out Eanix here. They're saying, go for us right now, man. And Trophies into the side, caught with that Ordain, with the Fearsome Shade. I agree that I will not have any support whatsoever. And this could be it. Infamous are charging in. There's Uni! And his jump jets. Oh my goodness. Those should have been called jump rockets because they are just that powerful. He's gonna jump jets away. Could they be actually going for the Kraken here? I think they will be.
It's going to be a free Kraken for Infamous because only 2 members of Eanix are up. Trapeze is now nearly fully built. Still needs to get that last item. I'd expect to see maybe a Frostburn on Trapeze, but he's actually got the Hissing Shard, which may build into double broken myth. It makes sense given how much shield Koshka's got. But it doesn't make sense given that Baron's got no defense, and Lyra's going to try and steal it. And Lyra is going to steal it!
Oh, what? He did it! Was that an Imperial Sigil steal? What?
It was an Imperial Sigil. Whenever you pop the Imperial Sigil, it does burst damage. So Lyra just waited, pressed it at the right time. This could be the turnaround for Eanix. They want to push this Kraken now.
Have the tides of battle gone into the favor of Eanix? This could still be Infamous's win. Uni is dealing so much damage onto this Kraken, is chipping him down. This 6 build, the weapon power Baron is showing its true fangs for the moment. SNK will get caught out. There's gonna be I Angry You Die. Spaghetti goes in. Uni with the jump jets. He wants to go as aggressive as possible. Even though they got the Kraken, there's just the one turret for 500. So maybe a little bit of an offset. Going to go in favor of Infamous.
Yeah, I don't think the gold is at all anything to mention at this point because Uni has all the items he wants. So the fact that he just got 500 gold from Kraken was pointless. He went from 1,000 to 1,500, and now what? You can buy 3 infusions instead of buying 2. That's just... It doesn't make a difference for this Baron because he's completely fully built. I like that Iron Guy is now picking up a little bit of weapon power. Maybe it'll go into a Soul Blade. Maybe it will just be it'll get some defense instead. But I do like that. I think they need to get some weapon power damage to try and deal damage on Koshka as well as the Baron, because Koshka with no armor really could die to the weapon power glaive. But there's Uni going for the back door. His teammates are stopping him porting.
Look at the damage, my goodness, Uni. Oh, Uni. I realized right there, but no, one more shot. And, well, they got the bad mojo, and they also have the bad tactics. Actually, it's not bad, it's just that it's dirty. So there you go. Game 1 will be taken by Infamous.
Yeah, where is your vision, Eanix? They decided that they didn't need vision in the jungle because you have your Crystal Sentry, which does provide an awful lot of vision. Whenever someone walks past it, you will see them on the map. But what Infamous did was they went, okay, we'll just take out your Crystal Sentry, and then when you push up to lane, we're going to use Spaghetti and SNK to stop you from porting home. Baron's just going to jump jets over the wall, and the amount of damage that Uni had means there was no chance he wasn't going to get the Vayne. So well played by Infamous. They probably weren't going to win the team fights because it was to the point where Koshka was basically useless, and Glaive was going to start becoming useful once he picked up a last damage item, and Scarf was probably better than Baron. So it was a smart decision from them to not go for the fight and just go for the backdoor. So well played to Infamous.
Yeah, so they just made sure that Eanix had no chance whatsoever, and they capitalized on just the backdoor prowess of that Baron. So we'll give it away to Luxuria and, of course, you to break it down even further. So, guys, take it away.
Hello, and thank you for that introduction. This game, it's quite interesting actually to see any game going up against Infamous, or rather with Infamous in it, that lasts more than 20 minutes. Wouldn't you agree, Minimizer? Because Infamous just know how to push the objectives so well, and we did see it from this game as well. And one more thing I'd like to point out, hasn't it been a trend for Infamous just end games? So many games with just backdoor. I mean, Baron has just no defense at all, just went for sheer red, you know, throughout. So honestly, they could have done that, but then it's just quite an interesting fact that Infamous has been doing that for all the matches we've seen so far, or a lot of the matches we've seen so far. What do you think? I personally think that I agree with Die on that Glaive could have just went for more damage as compared to that Aftershock, and I do agree with you as well. Had he went for that weapon build, probably he could have won the early game compared to that Koshka, against that Koshka at least, rather than going for that Aftershock.
Well, yeah, if Glaive had just gone Soul Blade Tension Bow, Tornado Trigger, or a similar build to that, maybe a Poison Shiv because they had double fountain, just some kind of weapon power build, then the defense Koshka got on Scarf wouldn't have applied to Glaive, and Koshka would have died to Glaive. Baron obviously would die to anyone because he's completely glass cannon. And so you're in a so much better position if you go for weapon power than if you get a little bit of cooldown with an Aftershock and a Crystal Infusion. Because that's really all Glaive had. He didn't have any other crystal power to increase his cooldowns, or sorry, to reduce his cooldowns. But I think it definitely would have been a smart decision. They wanted to do their protect the Scarf comp with sort of two captains. That's what they like to do. So that's why they went for the on-hit Glaive, because that's more of a captain-style build.
Yeah.
But for this second game, it's going to be interesting to see what the teams do pick in the draft. Speaking of draft, it is ready, so we are going to go into the draft.
So coming into this draft, you are saying that, you know, we all saw how Eanix just like to protect trophies at all costs, whether or not to go double captain roles with that, Lance, and of course Arden, if not then Lyra. And there is one more thing, they'd like to play the distraction comp as well, with a low damaging hero in front, or a very cheap build hero in the front lines, and just soak up as much damage, allowing trophies to just rain damage over the team. But like you said, in the first game, Infamous has got an answer to that, and that is the Baron, right? So coming into the second game, we have Infamous banning out the Graves, and of course followed by Eanix taking out that Lyra. And being picked up for the side of Infamous, it will be that Idris. So if Eanix pick up that Baron, just so, you know, want to have the upper hand in terms of weapon carries, at least Infamous has got an Idris that can dive in and just take the Baron out. And Idris does very well into the comp coming up from Eanix as well.
If Eanix don't pick their weapon power carry here, if they want Baron or Vox, it's probably going to be banned away. So I think they're going to pick their captain and ban away Catherine again. I'd like to see Infamous ban Vox and leave Baron open, because Idris is great against Baron. We know Eanix like to play. They like to play Vox a little bit, so I think Vox would make more sense of a ban. But we know that Infamous love to play Idris. They think he's really strong. He's pretty much banned or picked every game they play, so they'll be pretty confident that Idris is such a strong pick. In fact, we saw in the last game, they went for a Rome Samuel, and the reason they could do that, they were confident to do that, was because they had the Idris. They went, we've got the strongest hero, we think the strongest hero, apart from maybe Grace. And so they just were happy to go whichever comp they wanted. I would be surprised if it's anything other than Baron or Vox being banned, though.
Well, I guess Baron would be or rather Vox would be the optimum choice at this point in time. They are going to ban out Cruel, just depriving Iron You Die on that Cruel, which is great as well, because there really is no answer to that Cruel at this point in time. We've seen a lot of Cruels being played in the Vainglory 8 series, and yet no one has quite shut the Cruel down. So a target ban against Iron You Die, that is a very good ban coming up from the side of Infamous. And with that, the side of Eanix will pick up that Glaive that does very well into that Idris, provided Glaive starts building weapon and not go on hit. On hit, you have the early game, even before Idris gets his divergent path, but after in the late game when Idris has got his 3 core items, you'll be in for a hard time.
Yeah, weapon Glaive in the lane is extremely good against Idris. You can shut him down early and stop him and push that divergent pass unlock when you can blink out of almost anything to so late in the game that it's pretty much useless at that point because you've already lost because Glaive snowballed you. Taka is a preemptive pick because they know they love to pick Scarf and Celeste, so they love to pick squishy heroes. You're going to go Taka to counter that. So it's a really good pick. I'd love to see an actual roam, and they're going to go Batiste. I'd say that counts as an actual roam, as opposed to someone like a Samuel. So
yeah.
Batiste pick. That's there to stop the Glaive being able to dive freely. The Glaive won't have every afterburn able to get Idris in a good position. And we're going to see the first Petal. Really good pick against Taka. It's not great against Batiste. Batiste can clear minions really quickly. So can Idris with the Chakram. So we haven't seen a lot of Petal. It could work really well. I think Petal's one of those heroes where teams don't really play her a lot, but that doesn't mean she's weak. It just means she's not picked. But I think she is quite a strong hero if you can snowball in the early game.
According to VG Pro, Petal has got the highest win rate in all of regions. So so Petal's OP, and I must agree with you. Petal does very well into that of Taka, but you know, Infamous being Infamous, I'm not surprised if we see a Roam Taka. I don't know why, but I've got this feeling they might just pull that off just because of that Petal being picked up. I mean, that is
maybe it's possible.
That's why. So like you said, Taka is a preemptive pick into a possible mage, but with that Petal being picked up, I'm not surprised if Infamous would just settle for that CP Batiste that clears Petal better as compared to Taka.
If you go CP Batiste against a Petal, you will destroy her because she wants to invade you in the early game, which is fine. She can do that, but as soon as you get a couple of items, once you get a heavy prism, then an Empower Bad Mojo will take out all minions immediately. Well, the regular Bad Mojo will do, I reckon it would. Empower Bad Mojo does about 400 damage once you get your first Shatter Glass, and that's probably enough to take out the minions if they're all standing in one place. So I think that might make a lot of sense. They're going to go for SNK on the Batiste. So
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised if they will. Oh, SNK will be on the Batiste.
He will, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. But honestly, because I've got this delay, I'm watching via feed. But, you know, looking at both of these drafts, I personally think that the side of Infamous has got this in the later part of the game, whereas Angry Die on that Petal can have the early game because of how strong Petal is going up against Team Comp. Anyways, we are into draft at this point in time, and of course, casting and talking about this game, and of course, that Petal in particular, we have Aserai and Minimizer. Take it away.
What is up? What is up? We'll be casting this possible last game for the night. It's gonna be a first one for me to see a Petal. So, can you give me a little bit of pointers? Like, what's the strong points of the Petal? You know, going into this game, Mini.
Well, Petal is extremely good in the early game. She's very strong, but does fall off not quite quickly. Once Idris starts to be the hero that he can be, once he gets three items, then you're really going to be in trouble. Petal is called a potato because for so many patches, Petal was the worst hero in the fold, bar none. She was literally useless for tons and tons of patches until she got some love from developers and got buffs. And now she's going to go in onto Uni. She's really good against Taka because those minions will chase Taka even after he goes invisible. And so the most important bit with Petal is you need to have minions alive. They can be killed by the enemy just attacking them, but you can obviously respawn them with your A. So if Petal doesn't have any minions alive, she'll do no damage. So that's how you
do damage with her. Who's going to get the last hit onto the tree? And I think it's going to be, Uni. Uni going aggressive with the Taka. But they got to be careful because Truffles is here. Chitin will be activated just for the escape. And looking into the lane, it's Spaghetti versus Trophies. Okay, so nothing just yet. I thought it was going to be a first blood, but to no avail.
Attacker trying to be sneaky. He did manage to get the mid-train away from Petal, which is good. Petal was quite low on energy, and Taka did really well to keep clearing the minions. We're seeing a double weapon blade on Taka as my game is restarting. Is the same happening for you as well?
Yes.
So there's been some difficulties with the client we're using, so I'm sure that the teams will just reset, the party will be remade, and we'll go back into the game reasonably soon.
Yeah, I like that, how you said that, you know, Idris can be the hero who he needs to be. That's some pep talk, man.
That's what you say before you enter. Right, I need to do this. I need to be the hero I need to be.
Yeah, it is. So whenever you guys are, or whenever the viewers or anybody plays like rank in Vainglory, all right, I need to be the hero that I can become.
Yes, that's my inspirational quote for the day. And what I was pointing out before the game we started, Taka built 2 weapon blades in his first shop. So as soon as he spawned, he bought 2 weapon blades. We tend to see 1 weapon blade on Taka so that he has much quicker farm clear, and so that he can actually invade. But you generally don't see 2 because that's a waste. If he does decide to sell them, that's a waste of 300 gold as opposed to only wasting 150 for selling 1 weapon blade.
Yeah.
So I think that could point to being a tension bow aftershock Taka and a weapon power glaive. So we're going to have to see an on-hit Taka, similar to how we saw the on-hit glaive in the last game. It didn't actually work for glaive in the last game, so maybe it will work for Taka. But it is obviously possible that he does just sell those weapon blades once he wants to get some items.
Well, we'll just have to see if he does. I mean, what is the strength if you went for 2 weapon blades? What's like the benefits of it?
The reason why attackers go for weapon blades early on is because it makes you clear your farm a lot quicker. It means that because Petal has quite quick farm clear, she'll get through her jungle and be at the mid tree way before Taka if he doesn't have any weapon blades. I think Taka has one of the slowest clear speeds in the game because he takes absolutely ages to clear his farm until he hits level 6, gets the Exretsu unlocked. So going for the weapon blades means your basic attacks that you can keep doing when you're at level 1, your basic attacks do far more against those minions, and if you can clear farm quickly, that means you can fight quickly, and you also do the most damage against enemy heroes at level 1 if you have 2 weapon blades. So it's just to make sure Petal doesn't invade him too hard, that he can clear his own farm and won't be snowballed straight away.
I see. Now, I'm going to be going back once again into the Halcyon Fold. I'm really excited to see this Petal bloom, pun intended, see how it's going to work out against Infamous. But of course, Infamous is such a strong team right now in our tournament, so it's going to be quite a bit of a tall task for Eanix. But do you think Eanix has a chance here, you know, just trying to finish out the series against Infamous?
I certainly do. The main important thing for Petal is that she manages to invade, get some kills, get some farm in the early game. Petal's just got another chance to do it slightly better because Petal was a little bit low on energy in the last fight. His Taka kept taking up the minions. So hopefully Iangudai is going to have lots of Bramblethorn seeds ready. So when Petal tries to fight Taka, you can still have those seeds spawn into minions. And actually, Spaghetti and SNK rotating down. They could look for a...
Oh, this could be nasty. Truffles will get caught out. And SNK actually stealing the Trent. That's not going to be good for Eanix. They slow down a little bit Iangudai's jungle pathing here. And that's going to be a 2 Trent rotation for Infamous. Nope, you're not going to get lucky.
Iangudai cannot fight at the moment because he didn't get his treat. He's only level 1 and Taka's level 2. That means Taka has invisibility. It's a high level. And so Iangudai literally cannot fight because his treatment was taken and he didn't get the mid, he's only level 1. When Petal gets her trampoline at level 2, that when you use the trampoline, it gives you extra damage, and so without that, Petal is almost nothing, and then level 2.
Eanix going aggressive, swiping left and right. He will get caught out, and Eanix actually getting the first blood. Uni, bit too over-committing there, gets punished with the help from the glaive.
Yeah, great rotation from glaive down into the jungle to make sure Iangudai would be fine we saw Petal hit level 2 mid-fight, which was really important that Petal managed to upgrade the trampoline and then use it to get under between the turrets.
SNK running
what
away.
Are you doing, my friend?
And that's going to be 2 kills. Wow, this is not... Yeah.
Not good for Infamous at all. It was
Exactly.
SNK tried to take away the mid train again from my angry guy, just stop him farming up, stop him having the farm he needs to. But Eanix went, okay, you're going to try and steal farm, we're just going to kill you because you have no escape. Batiste is terrible at running away. He can only really stop you engaging on someone else. If he tries to engage on himself, he hasn't got much to stop that. So very good for Eanix. They'll be happy with that. About 400 gold lead given from those 2 kills. And the farm is pretty even, but both teams good after them.
Afterburn will be connecting onto the Batiste, but SNK again is on the captain. He'll be able to soak up quite a bit of damage here, while Spaghetti, level 3 under Idris, can only try to support, but for the meantime, not really deal threatening damage against Eanix.
Yeah, not yet. But Idris is going to port home, work towards that Solar Blade. So it's good for Idris that he's not being pushed by Glaive at the moment. Truffy's is trying to just farm up himself, going to clear this wave and then port home to get his own items. So it's interesting that even though the jungle has gone well for Eanix, there's no doubting that, but the lane hasn't really, because Idris has he's been farming up just fine. He's on 30 CS, Dave's 32, and he's just put a shop, so Spaghetti will be okay.
Checking at the junglers, 18 to 18, Petal versus the Tapas, so nothing really lost for the meantime here against Infamous, although this Batiste is so easy to gank. Eanix is going to follow through till the ends of the earth. The Munions will not get the munchies onto SNK. He will live to fight for another day, and Uni here onto the side. Will this Taka go sneaky? I guess he will, but he gets spotted out, so he'll just escape.
Yeah, trying to steal some farm, thinking Iron Gudai may stay in lane, but he decides to rotate to jungle to get his farm. Attacker's still being sneaky, he wants to get it, is he going to steal it? One basic attack, that's enough. Nice.
Oh, he did.
Pedal wants it. Pedal wants to kill him for that. You steal my farm, I really want to kill you.
Gonna return the favor, but, well, he's not gonna get that lucky. But who's even unluckier? It's gonna be Truffles. While that was happening, Iangry actually still here with the Pale, leaping in with Trampoline, but Trophies into the sidelines. Gonna get caught out by the Ordained. SNK really wants to go for the fight, but is Spaghetti in that prime spot? I don't think so, so they'll just be backing off 1-for-1 in terms of this trade.
Good kill trade for both teams. Good rotation from Trophies up from the lane down to the jungle to make sure Taka didn't get away without dying. Taka almost tightened over the damage and managed to sneak away, but Trophies had enough damage to secure the goal. I think he did actually shot while he went down as well, so that was really good for Glaive. It was a doubly good thing that he rotated to get a kill, and Afterburn is stunned out by the other. SNK will be okay, just barely. And yeah, so he also managed to shot, so Trophies will be happy with that. And Spaghetti is now not quite unlocked the diversion pass, still needs to shot to get that Solar Blade before he really can dive onto the backline without much fear from Glaive.
Let's see, Truffles will get caught out. There's the Ordain, activates the Vanguard onto himself. Where is Iango Yudai? He's here to the sides with the help of Trophies. Activates the Afterburn, it pushes him back. Iango Yudai will get himself a kill, and Eanix really starting to ramp it up here. Those Munions are just munching away at Infamous.
And that's the early game of Petal that we are seeing now. Picked up, going to work towards a Shatterglass first item, which most Petals do. Which most Petals actually do decide to go for. It makes a lot of sense. And Trophies could be in a bit of trouble. He is 1v2, going to be 1v3 when Idris comes, but he's Glaive. He's got an Afterburn. He should be fine. He's going quite low. Nah, he'll be fine. Glaive's quite tanky, with the Afterburn being able to get away if Idris decided to dive in. Taka's got his Storm Crown now, so that's really good. Really quick farm clear, and also reasonable damage to heroes. Petal is low, but will survive and will not die to the minion. So Angudai will be okay, and Trophy's just going to clear out his wave. Idris and Taka are going to actually take their backs together. That makes sense. Idris is looking like he's going to put a Poison Shiv next item. Or maybe actually it looks like he could be going for a Breaking Point. Do you think? I think that might make a bit of sense, because Breaking Point gives you more damage the longer the team fights go on. And do you think this is going to be more elongated team fights or more tight together. Maybe you should get more burst damage, like attention burst.
For me, Infamous should really focus on the burst damage because I think the longer these team fights progresses, the more it's gonna go in favor of Eanix. Just how I feel like they have a comp that can actually survive longer into the game. We'll just have to see if that's gonna be true. Infamous though, look at that. They focus on one, they shut down the glaive here, and they gotta look for Iangrioditis Petal once he goes down. The Arden doesn't have enough damage. I mean, he has a gauntlet, but that gauntlet got no spikes, so no dice. And Infamous takes down 1 turret and 2 kills.
Yeah, that's the power of Idris. He's being the hero that he needs to be at the moment. He's got the Divergent Paths unlocked. It was really actually a lovely play for Infamous. Gauntlet's going to come down.
Gauntlet has come down, but there's no follow-up. Eanix have yet to actually show their 2 stride. I could be wrong here. Trophies with that glaive going aggressive, gets for the second one. SNK will have to sacrifice himself for the greater good, and the greater good is for Taco to get back into the jungle and keep farming all day long.
He will be able to farm up, not give up the ace, but he's likely to push another turret to try and close that gold deficit they are under. And the player was going to point out with Idris, is Taka going to die? No, he's going to try and stop the turret falling. I reckon he needs to be able to get it regardless. The play that Idris did was he used his Shimmer Strike to go on top of Uni, and then once Uni used X-Retsu onto Glaive, Idris went out and Des going.
Hold on thought, man. It's going to be Uni getting caught out here. X-Retsu onto the Glaive. Can they get it? 1 for 1. Huge fearsome shake coming in from SNK, and this is going to make such short work. And Spaghetti, he just twirled all around his opponent and got kills left and right, up and down, sideways, however you want it. That's an ace.
Spaghetti really loves playing Idris, and I can see why. Idris is so strong. I personally love to play Idris because once you've got to this point, it is going to be the push of Shiv and Tension Bow. As you said, they want to do burst damage. There's no point getting a breaking point if you can kill them that quickly. And Argudai wants to go in, but Idris can kill those Munions. Just they're gone. There's nothing left. Petrol has no damage on the Munions are dead. Spaghetti could be out of position. He is 2v3. He'll shout step away, and Taka's there. So Idris won't be out of position. He can get a Tension Bow now. He should get a reflex block or maybe an infusion. But Spaghetti's in such a good position with 3 damage items. There's really not much Eanix can do unless they focus Spaghetti down, because Uni's there mainly as a distraction with that Aftershock Stormcrown build. But Spaghetti's got so much damage that they have to focus him down before anything else.
Gold mine was also taken out, so that's 300 gold for each member of Infamous. We're still just about to hit that 10-minute mark, and Infamous have already broken down 2 turrets. 1 more, and that's the choke turret to go. And though you can see Truffles as well as Iangriodai going into the flanks, but oh my god, that's just gonna be Spaghetti. Spaghetti going in aggressive, gets the first kill.
Hey, the same play again from Spaghetti.
Oh man.
Shrouded before, and they're going to go in on Glaive now. Oh no, they're just going to go for turret. Great play from Batiste.
And they will try to do the best that they can to get that turret, and they will. Infamous are just trying to end this already. I mean, it is already late at night, but damn, this is just something else. All entirely. Oh
wow.
My goodness, Taka. Oh.
Stop it, Infamous. They're doing so
Base
much
down
stuff, I can't even talk about it all. The burst damage, first of all, that Taco and Idris are doing together is spectacular. They're doing it all at the same time on the same hero, which is the first thing they're doing well. The second thing, they've done it twice now, is Idris normally uses his ultimate to secure a kill, to chase someone down. But in order to do that, you have to be within range of them to go on top of them. So Spaghetti's decided that Uni's X-Retsu range is longer than Spaghetti's Shimmer Strike range, obviously, because that's Taka's X-Retsu doesn't do as much damage, or isn't as useful. So what Spaghetti does is he ults on top of Uni, so that he's inside of his teammate. You can be, I think, about 3 seconds, you can stay inside your Shimmer Strike when you're on a teammate. And so then when Uni X-Retsu's in, Spaghetti jumps out, and it does splash damage to everyone who's around. So it does damage of the X-Retsu, and it's guaranteed Idris ultimate damage.
So
because he's just gone as Uni, so it's such a good decision on Infamous' part.
Basically, it's the Idris delivery system.
Yeah, Idris delivery. It's a free pass to get Idris on top of the end. He's going to do it again. Here we go.
Oh, that's dirty. And they get themselves one. That was the Petal. Well,
there's nothing you can do. This is such a good comp. It's been played so to perfection.
They keep just, they just keep plucking the petals left and right. It's just a question of, are we gonna finish this later or are we gonna finish this now? And Infamous looks like they want to finish it now. Trophies with the Hail Mary pass maybe have gone too over aggressive, but now he just says back off. Infamous will play this a little bit more safe. About 2 minutes and 30 seconds left into the clock before the Kraken spawns, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just push the gold lead. There's about 4k gold in the team, maybe close to 5k now that they need to spend on Infamous. So there's no point taking your gold lead and just not having spent it. It means you're not even ahead really. And now they're going to spend their gold and they're going to be ready for another team fight, which I'd be highly surprised if they do anything else except the Idris delivery system to get him on top of the squishiest hero, which in this case is Petal. So if Petal is within Xretsu range of Taka, she's going to die almost immediately. And it's pretty hard to not be in Xretsu range of Taka. I really like what Infamous have done. And another thing I wanted to point out in an earlier team fight was SNK on the Batiste used Ordained on Glaive to make sure he couldn't afterburn. Then Fearsome Shade on Glaive. So SNK took the turret damage and Glaive was stuck running away. Then Spaghetti and Uni just dived onto the turret. This was to clear the choke point turret down. So it was split focus, but SNK used all his CC to stop Glaive being able to kill Idris or Taka, and so they just immediately took down the turret. So that was another extremely well played fight from Infamous.
Yeah, as long as SNK can, like you said, distract or use his Fearsome Shade and Ordain to push back. The only character who can maybe make a difference here with Eanix is the Arden in terms of the CCs. It's just going to be Infamous either diving in, again, using that Idris delivery system on most notably the Petal, but, well, the Glaive isn't a bad target as well. But now they're focusing onto the turret, and they don't give a damn anymore. They're just going to be focusing down onto this Vayne. Will they be able to pop it? Eanix are going to be trying to do the best that they can, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And ladies and gentlemen, your champions have arisen once again. It's going to be Infamous.
Infamous showing their might, showing their power today. Eanix tried their absolute best. They drafted all right. They had a reasonably good early game. Petal got a couple of kills. Glaive got a couple of kills. But then as soon as Spaghetti got, I think it was one item, that was all he needed. One solo blade. He just went, right, I'm going to turn this fight around and I'm going to just win this game. Obviously, Uni was on Taka, being the delivery, getting Idris onto the back line. But mainly it was just Spaghetti. So comfortable. It's his most favourite hero to pick, and there really aren't that many counters. People say Glaive's a good counter because you can push him